Willkommen, bienvenue, and welcome back to Ludum Dare, live with light. I'm gonna turn desktop audio levels up to, I think right about there, negative 15.6. And then turn the music maybe down a little bit. Negative 23 point. Such that we've got decent music levels for anybody who wants to listen along with me. And when we actually start writing our own music for this, we're gonna need to have that. Let's head over to Discord. Let everyone know we're live. It's alive! Okay, step one. We need to show off what we did last time. Slimes in space. So this morning we're going to be doing a bit of refactoring, making the code make more sense. And then hopefully we'll move on to collision such that the slime can just fall onto this thing and stick to it. We're also going to work on, relative to that, rotation, such that the slimes are always falling down, no matter which direction down happens to be at the moment. Man, that is just so much fun to watch. Okay. So, things that need to be refactored. Well, we might as well start with the big one. We are currently using weird exceptional code for the player entity, and so we really should have a player class of entity. And so the trouble becomes, I don't know much about inheritance in Python. And it also seems as though our constants are betraying us. Right, you have to define entity before you define player entity. Well, that makes it seem like they get even farther away. We have to have worthwhile entertainment set up. Okay, that seems better. Chatbot's broken. Curses, chatbot. Is it just not showing my chat? There we go. It just wasn't showing it. Okay, so we've got our Electron Cloud model going on. Lovely. Now we need to do some quick research on Python inheritance. Oh, yo. Yeah, okay, so what in the world is that? Yeah, so we worked on point gravitational fields at the end of the last stream, and so we have slimes that are attracted to the block. There's also a little bit of ambient gravity pointing downwards, hence the more rounded paths that some of them take. Because when we initially made it, they would just go straight back and forth and back and forth. Ah, okay. So I was wondering how you do... Might as well just submit this. It's not a game yet. I was wondering how you called the initialization of the superclass. And you just do it super directly. And so the initialization of the subclass needs to include everything of the superclass. And so you need to have everything that you send into entity also get sent into player entity. Unless the player is always default, in which case you can send in significantly less. Because I don't think the player should ever have different versions of any of this when being instantiated. Because none of this really matters for the player. Have to teach yourself Robot C for the next week. That does kind of sound like fun. Okay, so we'll get rid of all of these. And then we're going to call entity.init self type block scale equals scale. Definitely loaded from a file, 100%. Because it'll either be that they're loaded from a file or they are generated at random. So, yeah. Don't worry about your teacher.
Inhale and exhale.
I don't care how much they're not doing their job. The topic is cool. And if you want to know it, go and learn it. And given you got your fortune teller to work right off the bat, I have a feeling you'll do a better job of teaching you than your teacher. Okay. So that should be all we need to change our slime into a player. And there we are. We have a slime. That's a player. Oh, what's wrong with building the machine? No, we can't control the slime yet. And all of these are currently the player. Control will come after the collision, because we'll need to be able to stand on something before we're able to jump. All of them are currently the player. See, they are all currently players. Okay, so now we're going to override the update function. Such that the player update is different from the non-player update. Okay, should still work. Great. Which means when we get to here, we don't need this if anymore. We can send it along regardless, and the block is still not moved by anything else. Parts are too finicky. Oh, okay. Tire hour to make two gears fit together? I see. Okay. So we probably shouldn't instantiate this vector every time. So we should send ambient gravity. We should send the game's ambient gravity. And for now, we will set the ambient gravity up here. We'll need to clean this up at some point as well, because it is not well separated into useful pieces. It is pretty spicy music. Tokyo Skies by Chipsel. So this is the same person who made the Crypt of the Necrodancer crunchy bit type remix. Credits acapella by Zircon. Return All Robots OST. I love it. Okay, did we have any other ways that we were treating the player special? No, this is just pretzel.rocks. It's just what it plays. I'm not having them all influence each other. No, never write order n squared algorithms. It would slow this down to like 1 frame per second. 1. Well, actually, no, because right now they are... I mean, they are looking at each other. Like, I don't have anything that is outlawing looking at the slimes. No wonder... no wonder the frames have gone down. So yeah, let's give the slimes some gravitation. Let's give them about half of the block. And 15. See what it does. Well, that was weird. Let's just give it a little bit of gravitation. Oh, right, because they slingshot off of each other because of the, because the inverse square law. They get too close to each other. This is Chipsel again. This is 2-3 from Necrodancer. So yeah, you get a churning nucleus of slimes when they have their own gravity. Okay, so this is pulling really hard on the computational resources because this is an order n squared process because every slime is affected by gravity and it's affected by every other entity. The reason I did it like that is because there is going to be only one slime. For now, we've got tons of them. Okay, I'm not going to skip this one because of the name of the band. I didn't realize there were stations. So, probably all tracks then? Yeah, didn't even realize there were stations. I've just been using all tracks because the vast majority of them are good. And this one I was going to skip, but their name is Ponder the Giraffe. It's interesting how I make the gravity lower and lower on them. It makes it a more stable churn. Where you just have a couple occasionally popping out a little bit and then going right back in. Okay, so let's set it back to 0, get a good setup for that. Okay, so... yeah, having the lower maximum acceleration makes for larger churns. Well, the problem with the max acceleration of 100 is that that's 100 pixels per frame. You start losing smooth animation when you get that high. But it is looking better. We're getting a little too far away now. It's called Get a Girl by GLD. It is what it is. Okay, now one other thing to consider is that right now it's using the inverse square law, but that doesn't have to be the case. There it is. We could instead use math.pow of G-law. And then up here, we set the G-law to be, say, 1.5 instead. And so it'll have a stronger effect over a longer distance. course, I forgot math. Import math. Okay, so did you see just how much stronger the effect was just by changing the power law from 2 to 1.5? Whereas if we change it to 3, like magnetism, you're just like, we're just falling. And the one guy that was close was like, hey, I love this Gauss field. I kind of like this. When am I going to implement collision? Soon. I'm still thinking about what I need to refactor. Because I want to send the application into the entity such that it can just ask for things that it shouldn't just be passed. Such that it doesn't store the scale itself. It's really what I mean. There are certain global constants that it should just ask the game. So... so whenever it makes a thing, it should send itself in. Slime battle. Well, they'll bounce off each other when slime lives. Rest have fallen into the abyss. Yeah, unfortunately, we've made a stable orbital model here. And it also looks like we can increase the ambient gravity now. What? How is self not defined? Oh, because this isn't being called in a function. So we don't have self. We're gonna need to add a function for adding entities. Oh, what? Self app type lock. Okay. I forgot to add app here. Of course I broke it. That's what programming's all about. You break it and then you fix it. Okay, now that was cool. The ones that were close enough survived and the other ones just fell into the abyss. Oh no, one escaped. You tried to remove all color from Pie Guy's game, but literally nothing happened. Oh, there they go falling from the sky. Yeah, there's clearly an overflow thing happening. Okay. So now app has been sent into the entities, which means they should no longer need the scale. Because they had it inside them all along. Why are you trying to make my game blinking dull? It's a good question. Let's get that. Self.app.scale. Don't set the scale in entities anymore. Okay. So we save that, and then we go into the sprite and make it such that the sprite, when created, also takes the entity instead of the scale. And it also probably needs the app. So self.app equals entity.app. If entity is not none. Self.app.scale. Where else are we scaling things? Hello, Lord Zyron. I'm attempting to make a hyper adorable horror platformer using Python. We'll see how that goes. Right now I'm doing a little bit of refactoring. Yeah, that's still good. Still good. Save. Let's see how badly we broke it. Line 63 in app.py. I destroyed my parentheses. Save it. Try it again. Name scale not defined. Entities 118. We don't pass the scale anymore. Planning on making an MMORPG yourself, is that bad? That all depends. What are your programming skills like, and what's your bank account like? If you don't have a decent bank account, you're not going to be able to afford the servers necessary for hosting said MMO. And if you make it peer-to-peer, then you're going to have a bad time. Map Maker for Pie Guys game is super cool. I didn't actually look at it, but it probably is. Coding seems hard. It's okay. Int object has no attribute app. Nani? Line 68 in sprite.py. Oh, right, we never actually sent the entity to the sprite. Okay, so entity, we're making the sprite. Don't send the scale. Send yourself. And there we go. Refactored sprite. Doesn't matter if it's for console. Still need servers. Servers cost money. But still, you should go for it. Everyone needs a goal. That sounds more like a dream, so you might want to dial it back just a touch. How much, though? Well, if you want the first M in that MMO, it's going to be massive, so you're going to need probably several dedicated servers from the Amazon cloud or something comparable across the various regions. This is creepy. You know, I don't know how much their workhorse machines cost per month. Okay, so we refactored the sprite. The sprite now has access to the app for asking for things that it needs. It also has access to the entity for asking the entity for things. Oh, we had one fall from the sky. Okay. So that looks good. Entities. Seems to be doing okay there. Illumination. Should be fine because we set up the shader up here as part of the app. Okay. Are you right about what? The thing that I'm making? This is barely a proof of... Like, this isn't even a proof of concept. Unless you're talking about your thing. I don't know anything about your thing. But if you're talking about my thing right here, with the slimes, this is just proof of concept of part of the game mechanics. So we've got the lighting and we've got a little bit of gravitation. We're still missing a lot. I do mean a lot. The thing that makes MMOs need a huge team is that you need to account for malicious actions. That it's not that making an MMO is too much for one person. It's making an MMO that people don't just completely destroy. That takes a whole team. Well, the thing with MMOs is that you have a lot of data coming from a lot of places that you need to verify, but you can't over-verify because that'll bog down your servers. But if you don't verify it enough, then people can just tell your central server that they've done something that they shouldn't be able to do. And you can't account for all the things that they shouldn't be able to do. Kind of like hacking, but it doesn't actually... They don't even need access to your servers. That they're just bypassing the messages that the game would normally send to send relatively innocuous ones that let them do what they're not supposed to. And it's really hard to keep a game real time and prevent them from doing things that are evil. Okay, I think it might be time to work on the rotation. Okay, so come in here. We'll come into Pygame. We need to check on the mask. Okay. That's cool. Been playing Torum online for 4 years, just getting toxic. Ah, that's a shame. Well, every game can take as many programmers as you want to throw at it. But things like Iconoclasts and Stardew Valley also show you that can also take as few programmers as you want to throw at it. And just because a game is big doesn't mean the code is big. Okay, so I think we should do the collision detection as you're about to draw it. And so we've already... Well, no, because you want to do it when you're updating it. Which means you need to... Oh, that's going to use up so much RAM. What I'm wanting to do right now is make it such that no matter which direction they're falling, they have their bottom pointed toward it. Such that if they're falling upwards, they turn upside down to face the direction that they're going. But I'm running into the trouble that since we separated update from blit, we'll end up having to store the current rotation for too long. And so that's no good. That's no good at all. So I'm thinking what we're going to have to make is a combined surface and location and rotation, like a surface and location object that we return from update. So update will do the physics and the animations, and then it will return a temporary surface and location with the rotation, where to put it, and all of that. Whee! Yeah, I think that's what we're gonna need to do. Is have blit run, send it the results of update, and have update return the current state of the sprite. And so we would need this to happen at the end of update. And then have this part just blit it. So it would need to return this part. Which would return a surface that has been trimmed. And then a location. Well, I don't think it needs to send the location, because the location could be changed by this stuff. Huh. Interesting. And this is the problem with refactoring. When you don't have all of the information in your head right at the beginning, you write something that might be a little persnickety to try to rework. Now we run into the trouble of, what do they call it? I don't know if we can transform it, like we can rotate it from a certain point. And the rotations might be really ugly, so we should probably test that first. Yeah, we should test that first. Rotation equals 0. Self dot rotation plus equals 1. And that means when we go to split it, we do pygame dot transform dot rotate, comma self dot entity dot rotation. Oh, right. Paste. Close it there. Nandato? Oh, right, because we can't clip it properly. Because it's rotating the whole sprite sheet. And you saw it completely annihilated our frame rate? Yeah, that's no good. So if we rotate anything, we can probably only afford to rotate one thing. And even then, I'm not certain we can afford it. Okay, so we need to figure out a way of getting just part of a surface. Okay, so this is a problem because if we try to... Well, rotate should give us a new surface, yeah? Mario. Okay, so let's give that a try. So... Curse Sprite equals so it's the surface dot subsurface. So we want this is the surface, subsurface, and we give it a rectangle, so clip. And so if we then do this, cur sprite, and get rid of that, it should still work exactly as it did before. Okay, so it has lowered the frame rate though. Yeah, a lot of CPU when transformed. That much I know. Okay, so our frame rate is stabilizing back to where it was because of extra people. I get that. So, pygame.transform.rotate curse sprite, comma, self.entity.rotation. Okay, this will annihilate our frame rate. But I just want to see if it works. Oh, they're so happy! And it hasn't annihilated our frame rate. Just been watching from your bed, don't really understand anything I've done. The refactoring was to give access to stuff from the right place. Right, they're just spinning. Like, I didn't add anything for doing smart rotation. I just added stuff for rotation. Okay, so if random.random is greater than 0.1, then do that. Do I have random in here? I don't. Whee! Okay, so the differences are too subtle. So what we're gonna do instead, random.rand int from 0 to 10. I mean, I could put them at different starting angles, but I want them to have potentially different spinning speeds. Okay, so let's go back to the app and we'll start with 25 of them, maybe? I don't know. Nah, we'll just keep the 50 for now. I don't know what my biggest fear is. One that I come across most often is heights, but... More scared of roach than attempted burglaries? Interesting. Okay, so now we've got a small problem. It's rotating from the center. And so they're not flying quite the way they're supposed to. Yeah, and for some people who break into cars, that might make all the difference. Okay, so let's do a quick check. Oh, right, we should probably do the PS util check as well. Because Pie Guy was nice enough to let us know about some monitoring stuff we can do within Pygame while it's running. Let's do that. Pip install PS util. Okay, then it's in app where we split this. Yeah, I suppose we can start using commas for a lot of this. Save that. And then we're gonna borrow Pie Guy's code right here. We only need to get the process once. Up here. Get the mem info. There's the mem usage. Window.blit. Text render. Mem usage plus and then do a little bit of quick math. One, two. Really? Gonna be that annoying? Okay, so that's not what I wanted. Run it. Int and string. Oh, right, we string this plus that. And then we should actually put it somewhere useful. So that's interesting. What is using... I don't think that's right. I mean, unless it's including... I mean, is it including the virtual memory? Well, I mean, that is possible. Bit shift bytes to megs. Bytes, right shifted 20. That's how you get megs. Good old XKCD. Okay, so that's the virtual memory being used. Should probably get the RSS as well. So, VMS, RSS. Is a good friend 0. String of RSS usage. Plus slash plus. Yeah. Peter Twitch knows what we're talking about. 2 to the 20 is that number. Oh no, someone flushed the toilet while you're in the shower. Oh no! Oh, and Peter Twitch, thank you for accepting my duck while I was offline. Always appreciate it. Unfortunately, you didn't get a duck, so... let's just fire off a random duck. Ah, it went with the pack. Why didn't it play the sound? Play the sound, duck. Really? Just keeps giving it to Pie Guy? Is it supposed to be random? There you go. There's your duck. Right, mem usage isn't defined. I forgot to change it. VMS. Okay, 49 sounds more reasonable. Granted, my overall manager is still saying 30. Weird. They're just randomly spinning right now. Green Chameleoning, hi, what's happening? We are having some slimes spinning around our psychedelic block. That's it. Yeah, that's all that's really going on. Also thinking about how to handle the collision detection. Also, I'm thinking about as well the Z ordering conundrum. But that is an interesting conundrum to think about, because we could fix that now. Well, we continue to consider how to make them fall appropriately. Because to make that work, we would need to be able to sort the entity list by a property of one of its members. So, Python sort list of objects. Usort key is lambda of... Oh, well that's easier than expected. Okay. So we come up here, and we'll give each thing a z-index. So we'll make the player 0, we'll make things in front of the player positive and things behind the player negative. So the block will currently be positive. Okay, we should only sort the list when the list has changed. And so now's as good a time as any to make our add entity function. So we'll do that here. Self.add entity. Which entity are we adding? And then we bring this down here. So how's everybody doing? This has been a hugely fun project for me already, and it's not even halfway over yet. Curse you, Steam! Stop showing me things. Okay, so when adding an entity, what do we send? Well, certainly we send ourselves, because that's always sent. Well, basically, we need anything that we could send to the entity itself. We don't need to send app because we already have that. And so we send ourself, the type, the location, and then a bunch of things that default to nothing. But we'll also need an extra thing for identifying the class. We don't want to use the word class, but e-class. Because we need to know whether or not we're making a player or just a plain old entity, or if we come up with new types of entities in the future, we need to handle them each differently. Is there a way of just sending the class itself? Oh, that would be cool. Okay, add entity self, comma, entities dot entity player. And then type. And then the location. Welcome back, Weird Monster. So you send yourself, you send the type. We send the lock. Send all these things. Close off that, close off that. Just pass it on through. What game should you play while you listen to me code? What are your options? Okay, so let's see how much this broke. Oh, it's still running. Sorry, guys. App object is not callable. Line 90. App.py, line 90, in add entity.
It was so damn worth to wait every second, every day, to wait for you to hold my
I'm clearly getting something in the wrong order.
There is so much more to say. I could kiss you for
Ah, don't need to send yourself to that. There we go. 3 latest Fallout games, all 3 Dark Souls games, CSGO, Binding Isaac, Civ 5, and Skyrim. What sort of runs would you do in Isaac? Broken, and it takes 4, but 11 were given. Oh, right. Equals G. Equals vel. Equals G. Flag. Equals call. Equals illumination. Type. Illumination. Offset. Unexpected keyword argument vel. Really? Oh, because Entity Player has an abbreviated list. What did Bill ever do to you? So do we modify Entity Player to accept all of the stuff that Entity does? Really should. That's wrong. No, that's the right place. And then we do a similar pass-through. So yeah, Isaac grinding doesn't sound as much fun as playing your favorite Dark Souls game. Okay, we have unbroken it. Oh, right, we should check how much less RAM it uses when we only have one slime. Or 2 slimes, I'm not sure. 1 slime. Same exact RAM usage. Brilliant. I love that it uses the same amount of RAM no matter how many slimes we've got. That is a brilliant plan. Writing a program to make your decisions for you. What's supposed to happen here, and what's that rainbow rectangle? It's going to be a block that they can land on eventually. Right now, it's just pulling them towards it with its gravitational field, which could also be a magnetic field. It's hard to tell. The math doesn't line up perfectly for either. And it's not really a color out of space either, because the color out of space was green. But it's just something psychedelic and weird to make you go, what? Yeah. But in the meantime, I was setting that up such that we could then sort then we could sort the entity list. So the add entity function needs something at the end telling you whether or not to sort the entity list afterwards. I'm going to make it true by default, but I'm going to set it to false when adding that is the end of that. But I'm going to set it to false when adding the slimes. Sort it equals false. Because when you add a lot of things all at once, you don't want to sort it every single time. It's unnecessary. So we'll add a bunch of slimes, don't sort it, then we add the block, and we do sort it. If sort it, then we remind ourselves of this code. So I'm not accustomed to lambdas, gotta be honest. And so what we're going to do is going to take self.entitiesList.sort, and then the key we're sorting by is something that we make up on the spot. So the lambda applies to the elements of the list. And so we do x dot z index. Now, we actually need to load the z indices. And so right about here, the index, it's an integer. In the file, it was the index. Dot lower. Okay, so that should set the z index from there. And then up here...
How am I gonna get over this?
The index is none. Okay. Z index equals set the Z index. We also need it in here. Here. It's alive! Let's see what you're going to be playing. Dark Souls 3 it is. Save it. Run it. Dick has no attribute lower. Ah, right. Can't lowercase that.
And I see the way it goes back years before I get to the right place.
Okay.
No longer
Appears to be functional.
must get gone and move.
Now for the true test. Will this simple change put in the background? It doesn't! Oh no! Lozaran, thank you for accepting my duck. Should be along shortly. Okay, so what did we do wrong?
See the money on the floor, she said, well, I'll be right back to
Controller isn't working. Oh no! Voice sounds familiar. Well, it's entirely possible. And then again, there are probably a decent number of people who have my voice too. Well, this only happens once, so we can do reasonable print statements on this.
You're leaving me now, but I don't care. I know you think I'm in despair, but I'm happy now.
Oh, never running. Hey, there's my duck. I play Space Engineers. I have never played Space Engineers. Sorry. Oh, why is sort it never true? Oh, because we didn't actually run the right function here. Okay, I'm just an idiot. Don't mind me.
And I see the way it goes back years before I get to the right place. And no longer home, must get gone. Move on to the next one.
Hey, look, now it's in the background. Would I play it? I don't know anything about it, so maybe? I do like a lot of games, and there are a lot that are still in my backlog. So, I don't know when, if ever, I would get to it, but it does sound like something I would enjoy, given the weird gravitational properties of my slimes at the moment. Okay, so let's close that, and let's set the z-index back to 1. And now it's in the front. Like Minecraft, but better. Space engineers. So how is it different from, say, Astroneer? I think it's Astroneer that's the name of that game. Where you build the poles with the lifeline to be able to get to where you're going, and you can make all sorts of interesting fancy tech things on some planet or other. Might be a moon. I don't really know. Okay. So now let's do something a little bit fun. See, index equals random minus 0.5. What? See, this is why we do tests. Oh, right. We need it to be on either side of 1. So we need to add 0.5 to it. Dreadnoughts! Ooh. Space engineers, you can build anything. Okay, so now we've got a block in the middle of all of the various slimes.
We just lost.
So that's worthwhile progress right there. Because now we'll be able to have background and foreground entities that don't even interact with the player. Okay. So the next question is, how do we get the slime to face the correct direction when it's falling? Because we need to determine the correct facing direction. We need to determine whether clockwise or counterclockwise would be a shorter trip. And we need to set a rotation, like allowed rotation speed. And most likely a set rotation acceleration, such that it doesn't just instantly start rotating at maximum speed. But man, I really just want to watch them. A lot more than there was last time. You missed a lot, Nixius. Welcome back. Forgot about your favorite Dark Souls character. Oh, that's rough. But yeah, we've got the illumination working. We've got the gravitation working. We've got the rotation working. His name was Mr. Dragonslayer. Just wields the Dragonslayer armor stuff. Okay. So, we will comment this out for now. And just add one slime. At a very specific location. So we're going to put it at 750 by 200. Okay, we need to make sure that he doesn't just fly away every time. Okay, the pattern that he takes should be deterministic. And it is. Good. I like determinism. What's with the colorful block in the middle? I needed a block, so I made a block. And I figured weird, hallucinogenic looking, blocks would be good for getting across the madness theme. We'll eventually make better art, but for now, Chippy block is fairly reasonable. Z-index should be just default, and no need to sort it. Okay. We'll leave this running over here. And then we need to look into how to determine all the things we need to determine. So it's going to be done on update. We're going to get rid of the random rotation. We're going to need the acceleration. To determine its facing. That's okay, Pie Guy. Which part of all of this? The refactoring or having point gravitation? Okay, so the acceleration is a vector. All of it? Well, my goal is to have objects in the game later that you can jump up to, and they will attract you to them. And I need to be able to rotate them properly such that you'll squish butt down onto the ceiling instead of bonking your head on it. Because I want you to lose faith in classical physics as the game progresses. High stability is 90 resistant almost everything. At least 70. Yeah, 90's a bit OP. Okay, so we need, because the rotation is in degrees, so we just need the acceleration in degrees. Relative to whichever direction we think is appropriate. So rotation degrees 0 is with gravity straight down. So acceleration down should have an angle of 0 versus the default. So we need up here, true down equals pygame.math.vector 2 pointing down. Cell angle equals true down dot to angle 2. Excel. Print. Cell. Angle. Okay. Now instead, we set self.rotation to be the Excel angle. That's not right. There we go. So it's not exactly what I originally conceived, but I'm not sure it's a problem. Okay. Send it back into many slimes mode. Okay, so we now have slimes pointing in the direction of gravity. Gravitational slime! Okay, now let's turn slime grav back on. Okay, increase the slime grav. Increase the slime grav just a little bit more. Okay, so you just get that little bit of difference in facing in the peripheral slimes. Where they're not always facing right in the center. Okay, now let's try something a little bit different. Not what I said I was going to do next, but I kind of want to try it. Okay, so I'm gonna take this and put it in entity. Does that work? I think that works. Pretty sure that's gonna work. Oh. Right, because we didn't do whatever dot. Okay. Name Excel is not defined. Oh, right, there's no... There's no acceleration defined there. So we only do the acceleration down here. Right. Likely to be eaten by a groove. Absolutely. Okay. So that works. I'm actually going to skip forward a bit. I'm going to skip the collision in favor of AI, because I love AI and I want to play with it. How long do I have left to finish it? It is due by 9 o'clock tomorrow evening. But I have rehearsal at 9 o'clock tomorrow evening. So I'm going to need to be finished before that. But I'm not going to be done. That much is a given. Okay, so... for the AI, we're going to need AI types, which will be functions, and we're going to need parameters that get sent into them. And that will be part of the entity definition, I think. And so we'll stop having this being just a single thing, and then we'll have children for the AI. And so they'll need to have AI as just a thing that exists. We'll need a new file. Okay. Okay, so we will pass params and the entity. Do we send the app as well? I don't know. I don't think so. And even so, we could just get it from the entity anyway. Oh, it's not a game yet. You can't control it at all. Right now, it's just a movie. Oh, right. I was also going to make it such that update did the blit. Ah, it's fine. It's not a game! If you have no control, it's not a game. Speaking of which, Candyland, not a game. Okay, so here, if self dot AI is yeah, we're gonna switch that to lowercase, is not none. Actually, we don't even need to send the entity because we just send ourselves.
Just to play y'all tracks. I'll be gone to November if I do come back. It'll be a cold ass winter if I do come back. But I have no doubt, therefore no slack. Black on black, everything except the president. It's evident the residents do not approve the president. So I'm preaching to the
Okay, so for now, we're gonna hard code some things just to test it. Okay. Platform is not fine because it's AI.platform. Okay, and then here, print params. Hello! Okay, so self.lock.x. Oh, that's gorgeous. Going over to your friend's house. Thanks for the luck. Have fun. I'll see you some other time. Okay, so the AI is just a fundamentally working thing now. And so should be params. Save it. What we're going to pass in is the direction. vector equals 0. Meter equals 1. Actually, no. It should just be an angle. Maybe? Okay, so how will platforms work? You'll have a starting location. You'll have a direction that it can go. And how far it can go. Theoretically, you could just have an arbitrary path that it follows, but that's too complicated for the platform I want to make right now. So I'm going to have it start at one end. Go in a particular direction. Once it gets that far, it turns around and goes back. So, it will have an anchor. Welcome back, Green Chameleon. I have not made the block solid, but I have started making the block move. And I made the slimes point towards the block. I'm not sure if you were here for that. Trouble with AI params having the anchor built in is because then we won't be able to set its basic location. So what we need is its spawn point. Vector 2. Is it an object? Can we copy it? We'll see. Let's go back to one slime for a bit. Good morning, Colin. How's it going? Oh no, the spawn keeps changing. So it's not a copy. Okay, so when we initialize it, we need to do it slightly differently. Self.spawn equals math dot wait pygame dot math dot vector 2 of lock dot x comma lock dot y. So we don't want it to be a reference. We want it to be a copy. There we go. Now we've got a static spawn point. Okay, so now the platform needs parameters for the direction and the distance. Cool Dyson board game shop in England. That's awesome. It's coming along. It's at the very least making progress. Okay, so we're still gonna have just default angle be down. And so let's try -90. And then distance. Let's have it go 1100. Pie Guy does in fact live in England. Actually, we don't need to even set the angle in the AI params. We just set that when spawning the block itself, because we can set the velocity when we spawn it. So all we have to do is keep track of the spawn point. We tell it the distance, and that's all it really needs. Okay, so what we need is distance equals self dot lock they have just a distance function? No, good. So we're gonna subtract it from self dot spawn, and then we'll take the length. If distance is greater than or equal to let's see, greater than or equal to params sub distance, then self.vel equals negative self.vel, and self.lock equals plus equals self.vel. Okay, let's also speed this guy up a bit. See what we got. Okay, so it's not working quite right. Because it's starting in the middle. Sazim, where I learned programming. I started learning programming long time ago from a book on QBasic. Long time ago. From then, everything else I've learned has been either from additional books or the internet. I mean, I had a class or two, but they were mostly worthless. Starting from the middle is not a problem for me. That does not bump me. Oh, the slime has that AI too. It's so weird. It's having some serious issues. Okay, so let's slow it back down. Okay, so this is okay, but we can improve upon it. I think first we do need to put the AI stuff into here. Make sure that didn't break anything. Good, not broken. Um, okay. That, I think, is the format that I'm going to want. So then when we load it here, we'll need to grab the function, and we'll need to grab all of the parameters. For property? Not sure property is the right word. And child, if property dot tag dot lower is AI. AI type equals property dot trib sub type. For param in property, AI params equals dictionary, AI params sub param dot trib sub. What do we call it? So name and value equals param dot trib sub value. Save, and then AI equals the function that we get from AI dot AI map sub And then the AI params are our AI params. Don't forget the commas. And so we need an AI map. Okay, so should have done literally nothing. Name platform is not defined. Right, you can't use that on something that doesn't exist yet. Yes, you really do need to get started with collisions. What have you been doing? Local variable AI type reference before assignment. Ah, if it doesn't have any properties, we have a problem. AI type equals none. AI params equals none. Wonder if that works. Apparently doesn't work. This is pretty much all you need to do. Nice. Okay, so that's mildly annoying. AI func. Okay. Nothing broken. Should we be able to set the AI and its parameters when creating the object? Sure. Don't I want to start making deep learning AI someday? Maybe. Bit of a fad at the moment. We'll see if people really make it do what they promise. Hamzil Murph, wow, what is this? We are working on Ludum Dare. We are trying to make a thing that is a thing and not some other thing. Okay, so there's that pass through. We've got these parameters. We've got these parameters. We also need to update this one. And we need to update the pass-through. And that should be it. Save it and run it. Broken! Missing one required thing. 125. So it's calling it. Is params positional? Okay, params is positional. I thought it would have automatically sent itself. Oh, well, that I totally got wrong. Values aren't necessarily numbers. We don't necessarily know the type of the number. Sure we do. Oh, that was the wrong button. If param dot trib of type. Not name, type. Not single equals. Float. And we do thing. Instead of int, we do float. Else, we don't cast it. Next three, any particular reason why you don't use Visual Studio Code? Not particularly. Do you use Visual Studio for Python? Because there are tons of things you can use, but a lot of them are probably more than you need, and I'm learning Python at this point. If I were a seasoned Python coder, I might take advantage of the autocomplete type features you get in lots of things. But right now, I want to cram as much information in my brain as possible. And so I'm not taking any shortcuts.
Shutting us out like you never act like this before.
Okay, slime is now acting normally.
I don't wanna lose you.
Which means we can now turn back on multi-slime mode.
No one's gonna see
Actually, we don't need to turn off that one slime. We can just turn on multi-slime mode.
you lose this battle. You can't stop me now. You can't stop me now. You can't stop me.
And there we are. Bunch of slimes and a moving platform.
Can't stop me now. You can't stop me.
Okay. Some pretty decent progress. So yes, to everybody who's watching, if you're planning on doing Ludum Dare at some point, and you want to finish it, use a language you know really well. I'm not planning on finishing. I'm planning on learning as much as possible. I've said before, but I will say again, I used Python for about 3 months, roughly 2 years ago. And so, all of my Python skills are pretty darn rusty. And writing games is one of the best ways to get the rust off, because anything you need to do, pretty much ever, with Python, or anything else, you are likely to need when writing a game. And so the stuff that we learned from figuring out the lighting is really important. The inheritance that we did for making the player act differently from other entities is important. Just working with classes in general is pretty sweet. Having the benchmarking tools that were pointed out to us by Pie Guy. If you're not following Pie Guy over on Twitch, probably should. I know it's not as easy to follow people on Twitch from the chat as it is on Mixer, but yeah. Power Flash, it has been a while. We are writing a game. And right now we've got a bunch of slimes orbiting a psychedelic platform. Start out in random places. They are pulled in via pseudo-gravitation. Platform goes side to side, and they follow along. And now, to show you the power of extensibility. So now we're going to make another block, but we're going to put it over at, let's see, it's 1280 wide. The thing itself is about 90. So we'll put it at 1150. Same vertical, but instead of it going horizontally, we're going to have it go let's see. Same speed up and down, but a tiny little bit to the left. Streaming on YouTube, Twitch, and Mixer, not Discord. Discord is not for streaming. It's for Mixer. And my website thing is gone again. Stupid OBS not saving my changes. So yes, my website down here-ish. I've made a thing that it will play the Mixer feed for you because it's super duper ultra quick, but show you all 3 chats such that you don't have to wait for it to show up. And you can chat on any of the 3 chats that you like that you have an account for. Now we're going to run this, and now we've got 2 blocks. Oh, it went too far. Right, the distance. So now we go AI params equals distance. How far do we want it to go? It's 720 tall, so we're going to send it 320. Yeah, the time is right down here. It is currently 11:20, so about 40 minutes until lunch. And so now we've got a platform that goes up and down and slightly to the left. Has the same gravitational pull as the other, so occasionally they'll exchange slimes like electrons. And so that's why I made this so extensible. Such that if I need to add more blocks, it's a very simple process. And so now we'll make one that starts at like 200. Well, let's make it 290 because it's pretty wide. And then it'll go pretty darn slow. And it's going to start by going to the negative y. And the distance will only be about 180.
Said you're doing fine. You're juggling, working life, not struggling. Well, that's a lie.
Okay, and let's speed up the original one.
Why'd you even try, buddy? You stayed up all night.
Well, the original idea for the game is that we are some guy that got turned into a slime and is now wondering if he's dead or just insane, and is trying to get to pretty much anywhere he can get to with the assistance of his badly drawn Unipig companion. And so you'll be platforming in really spooky environments where the gravity might not be on your side. You can't walk because you don't have any feet, no slides, no squishes, no whatever. All you can do is jump. And so you try to make your way through the various places in the dark with strange gravity that gets darker and more strange as you go. But nothing can kill you, because anything dangerous that you land on, you're saved from by your badly drawn Unipig companion.
Just a little too much. And now you're frozen. It was all a lie, buddy. You know I tried. Oh, buddy. You are so.
Now, the chances of that being completed, pretty slim. But you would go through various locales and have different types of platforms you can jump on. But in general, you would start off with average pointing down gravity. And then as you go on, you get more and more blocks that do strange gravitational things. What will I eat for lunch? I believe soup is on the menu for lunch today. So yeah, this is pretty fun. We need to turn off the sort it alert, because that is unnecessary. But we also don't need to sort these weird platforms either. Is this Python? Yes, it is.
No one to talk to, no one to bring me down.
Yep, trying to push the limits of what Python is willing to do.
I tried so hard to be involved, but my selfish ways don't ever change. And now you're walking away, I don't blame you. And now you're running away from the danger. I guess I wasn't a saint or a savior. You put your faith in a fool. And now I'm stuck in the
Okay. I just love that it tosses some of the slimes to some of the other platforms. Well, you know, so far as Java, and you don't think you can code a game with that? Why not? Minecraft was Java. Very well might still be. And even if you don't know any of the graphics stuff, you can take your Java knowledge and apply it to JavaScript, and then you can make a web game. Ooh, I know what I want to try. Game capture. Seems game capture doesn't work. Okay, so we'll remove that. We'll try window capture. There we are. Used to do Unity with C#. Only a side hobby thing, couldn't keep doing for long. Unity is very, very popular for this quote-unquote competition. And no, I'm not on Instagram. I don't take enough pictures. But yeah, so now OBS, I can swap between desktop and capturing the game itself. So, good to know. It works with OBS. Which is fairly important to me. Like, I want this game to be streamable. I don't like game capture doesn't work, but at least window capture does. It might be that if we use the OpenGL mode, then OBS might be able to inject into the buffer like that. But as it stands, this type of rendering, it does not like game capture. One thing I do need to check. It's hard to tell while they're moving whether or not they are still animating properly. Sorry about that. Need to swap back. Unexpected indents. Right. Got rid of the if. Okay, they are animating properly. And so you can see the z-index stuff that I worked on as the things pass by. Some of them are actually behind it. Yeah, I'm not going to rewrite the whole thing. I'm not going to switch to OpenGL mode. I'm saying that if if you really want a Python game to be game captured, maybe the OpenGL route will make it work. Okay. Okay, now let's try an experiment. Let's turn off the light. Okay, so that is important. That's why we test these things. Time for lunch for you. Have fun, Power Flash. Enjoy your food. Food is delicious. Okay, so now the blocks are not illuminating themselves. It's the slimes that are doing the illuminating. So if we only put in a single slime, you only see the blocks that it's hanging around with. Oh, we lost him. Okay, and so let's put in like 5 of them. Oh, I love this music with watching slimes. So how are y'all doing today? I'm just gonna sit here and stare at these guys for a while. While I think out my next plan. Oh no, killed Soler! What will you have to do in the game? Mostly jump. At least that's my intention at the moment, is that you need to make your way through levels by jumping because you can't walk. They're going to be dark, so you're going to have to illuminate things with your companion. Well, I suppose companion is something I should work on soon. No, you are the slimes, actually. That you are one of these slimes. It's just I have a bunch of slimes because I don't have a whole lot of artwork. So, like, this is not a good example of what the game is going to be like at all. Because there's just going to be one slime with one companion jumping his way through levels that are not as psychedelic as these blocks. And starting out, gravity will be perfectly ordinary. It will point down. There might be environmental slimes, but they're not going to be enemies. There are no enemies, there's only environmental hazards, and even those won't kill you because your faithful Unipig will save you from all of them and put you back the last place you were safe. Really? What you're giving me, Pretzel? No thanks. And what part of this will be horror? Well, it will be dark, and it will be spooky, and if there are enemies, they'll be like environmental grabby hands and things like that. So we're not doing jump scares, we're doing atmosphere. So it's not going to be like super gory body horror stuff. It's not going to be House of Thousand jump scares. It's going to be a slightly concerned slime in the dark with spoopy music and still adorable surroundings, but they're really dark, and you're like, I don't know. Oh, we lost them all. And so, yeah, gonna try to go for the atmospheric horror. I mean, I might not have the right word for the genre. And if we really wanted to finish, we could make it be a astronomical body simulator platformer. Where you are a slime and nothing has collision. You just have to jump towards the platforms, get sucked into their gravity, and then jump to the next one. So if we want to change trajectory and make this a different type of game, we probably could. So that's a decision that needs to be made. Do we want to keep making it the horror game, or do we want to make it an orbital simulator platformer, where we try to avoid dangerous platforms and jump to safe ones and do this sort of weird spinning shenanigans. Make both. Do it! Just make them both. I think it would be really frustrating how often you'd overshoot the platforms. But it's pretty well equipped to make that game right now, because we would just design certain types of blocks. Their AI would just be cross the screen or curve across the screen or do whatever, and some of them would be safe and some of them would be dangerous. And then you just set up the controller. You'd point in a certain direction and hit jump. And then you get points for how long you survive. I'd still rather make the other game. Like, that one sounds way more fun. And I think with 2 more segments of programming, I could have the majority of the fundamentals ready to go. And then spend tomorrow making content. Which, I know, saying it like that makes it sound easy, but making the content is not going to be easy. Always stay hydrated, kids. When you're talking and thinking this much, say goodbye to all your fluids. Oh, we lost him. Oh, we got some more Necrodancer music. 3-3. Oh, look at this guy. Never seen him spaz out like that. Pretty cool. And with only a handful of sprites, it renders super darn quick. Now let me search real fast to see if I've got anything. I think I should use that just for testing. Resources. Sprites. Okay, so we're gonna make... Oh, he's gone. How big is that image? $1920 by 1080. That's fine. Okay, so... Background.ping. Oh wait, undo that. File save as. Background.xml. We make it background.ping. Give it 1 frame of animation. Zero 1280 by 720. Anchor 0 0. Now we make an entity. Background.xml. -1. No gravity. No gravity. No collision. No illumination. No AI. Background. 0 0. No velocity. Save. And there we are. We've got a background. Okay, now we can modify the illumination offset on slimes. Okay, now we've lost a lot of frames. Because we're now blitting that large background. So that's not very promising. Let's see what happens if we turn off the lights. Well, turn on the lights, I guess. Yeah, even turning on the lights doesn't even get us all the way back up. Okay, turn off the lights and put us back down to single slime. Huh. That's really weird. Why is that the case? Okay, there's something strange going on with that background entity. Okay, so... So it's not running... Oh, that's why. Well, no. This is done once, right at the end. Why is Shade taking so long to run? Okay, step one. Let's edit. The background. Real quick. Make it smaller. Maybe that'll help. Come on. How much time till lunch? Don't crash on me. I know you're photoshopping, you love crashing, but come on. Okay. Camp size from there. 1280 by 720. Go. I know. File. Export. Web. Go. There we go. Okay, so we're using up slightly less RAM. And we're still losing all our frames. Trying to light that up. So it's looking like... Oh, I have a good test for it. What? Stop that. Wait a minute. What? Are you kidding me? Oh. I see. Okay, so what if we try this? So like that, come in here, comment this part, save it, run it again. I really don't understand. So, illuminating literally nothing is more expensive than illuminating nothing. Except for the fact that we're still illuminating black. I don't understand. So we'll keep the shading, we'll get rid of the entity. And it's fine. So let's get rid of the previous window cleaner. There we go. Wait, what? Did I forget to reactivate the I did. Sorry. Wait a minute. What? Blank is supposed to be blank, not black. We'll get rid of this. It should smear across the screen. Why is it not smearing across the screen? Oh, because it's applying the darkness. But even that shouldn't work like that. I don't know how that works. Surface. Fill. Weird. And then what happens if we turn it off? Where is it again? Here. Strange. Let's put all the slimes back in. See if we get any weird artifacts that way. Wait, what? That was weird. Yep, no strange graphical glitches. Super weird. Okay, so that will make some aesthetic choices for us because we just can't draw a full background. Because drawing a full background just gobbles up our frames. Because we're doing a full layer for the illumination. I know I could switch to a lower resolution, but it's so small. Did Mixer Chat die again? I don't know. It's entirely possible. It does like doing that. And yes, I could switch it down to the lower res. I mean, that's how Nuclear Throne works. Nuclear Throne is the tiniest little game you'd ever care to see. Ah, welcome back. Let's see how it looks. Oh, right, it doesn't scale. Close it and start it back up. There we go. That's what happens when you don't clear the screen.
Everything happens for a reason. Everything happens for a reason. Everything for a reason. Everything for a reason. Everything happens for a reason. Everything happens for a
This is not the ideal solution. I'll think about it over lunch, whether or not I'm willing to accept less than HD resolution for my silly Python game. begs the question, how many slimes can we handle? Clearly not 100. See what the piratical limits are. Or I could just cap it at 30. Pie Guy, are you yesing to the solid platforms or the capping it at 30 FPS? Because right now, you guys are seeing it at 30 FPS. Because I stream at 30 FPS. I don't know why I'm making a 60 FPS game if I'm never going to have it run at 60 FPS. But I do need to go. It's time for lunch. I've made some progress. I'm gonna need to make some decisions on some things because I do need a background. But if we just split it black instead of a full entity, all right, her black is currently red. We can make some aesthetic choices that could facilitate that. And so we'll need to make some decisions going forward design-wise that could help facilitate keeping the high FPS for people who really need that high FPS. But yes, after lunch, we'll focus on collision because we need collision if we're not going to make the weird astronomical platformer. Yep. That's what we're going to be doing after lunch. But for now, I do need to go. I won't be back until probably at least, I'm thinking 2 o'clock. Because not only do I have to have lunch, I need to go grocery shopping and just live a general human life. So I will be back most likely around 2. Thank you all for being here. I will see you at 2. If you're working on your own games, good luck with your games. If you're not, have an enjoyable couple of hours if you're going to be back afterwards. Bye-bye.